The old man from 48th Street. It was past midnight when Patricia, unable to contain her excitement any longer, told her friends about a macabre story she had heard a few days ago. They used to get together to pass the time. P4, as they called themselves, almost always chatted, testing their skills at board games and video games. It was rainy at night and it was just them in the house, Pedro, Phael, Paulo, and her. It had been exactly a week since Pedro's panic attack, believing he had seen a ghost. His friends at Paulo's house. No one had brought up that subject anymore. Until the storytelling sessions, especially the ones linked together, it was a decision between them. The following week, however, there was Patricia, as usual, ignoring the agreement. According to her, it had been a long time since anyone had talked about a mystery as intriguing as that of the old man from 48th Street. Guys, I know we agreed not to talk about these things anymore, but what I have to tell is really bizarre, seriously. A friend of mine from college was in a bar and witnessed a commotion that almost turned into a fight, and breaking it, Patricia told this with an expression embarrassing but unable to hide the sparkle of the quote in your eyes. You traitors, you can see on your faces how curious you are. I'm going to go down and stay on the couch playing on my cell phone. That's the best thing I can do. When you're done, let me know and I'll come up and we'll do something. But you should know right away that I'm pissed. Cool. Pedro said as he left Patricia's room and went down to the living room, irritated. Be careful downstairs, Paulo said in a provocative tone, looking sideways and smiling discreetly. Pedro didn't even notice and went down. You were successfully ignored, Phael said, trying to contain a laugh. Okay, guys. I'm going to tell you. I'll try to reproduce exactly how I heard this friend of mine usually speak, as if he were telling a fantastic story. I think someday he'll be a screenwriter or whatever, Patricia said, looking into Phael and Paulo's eyes at the bar. The atmosphere was actually pleasant, with the usual people lamenting the usual problems. I'm going to explain everything in as much detail as possible so that you understand that this is not a fantasy story. Everything that happened here was exactly as I'm going to report. Here I'm telling my story. Point of view of an event that honestly made me uneasy. This point of view that came from a table in the left corner of the hallway that led to the entrance to the bar's bathroom. The place was dark, but coincidentally you could see everything that was happening in the place. Almost everyone there interacted, some more and some less so, of course. I was alone at my table, and next to me was a couple who were so clueless that they were almost thrown out of the place for indecent exposure in situations like these. I even try without much success to ignore primitive behavior, but I can't. For the love of God, why don't they get a room right away? It would be less embarrassing for them and for me. At the counter that is on the left side of where I am, 3 meters in front, there was a woman who said that she was insinuating. She was the least bit in a red dress and black high heels. She seemed to be ready to go home. From the back, you could only see that she was a big woman of about 30 years old, but whether she was a femme fatale or a prostitute, I'm not sure. You only noticed that she was prowling around her surroundings in an almost promiscuous way. Looking for a more productive night, let's say, not far from her. Also at the bar was a tall, well-dressed man. His difficulty in staring at the things around him makes me deduce that that shot of whiskey must have been his 10th of the night. Every skirt-wearing girl who passed by him was hit on. It was only a matter of time before he got even more drunk and grabbed the first dragon that came near the pool table. Another couple, thinking that this place was a motel, between clumsy shots of a cigarette, at least suspicious. There were 5 friends. The tallest of them, 0, this time, trying to pocket a ball that from where I'd say was red number 3. But that's not the point. They all seemed to have graduated from some college. I saw notebooks and backpacks scattered in the corner of the wall. On the table next to the pool table, I could see a woman who seemed depressed. She must have been in her 40s. I think her appearance wasn't the best. Her hair was slightly disheveled and her makeup was so smudged that it seemed like she was unhappy with second place in the drag queen contest. The poor thing shared the emptiness of the jail. Next to it, another glass of a mix of vodka with red fruits. Looking around the rest of the bar, I saw an elegant man. I already told you that my dream has always been to be a detective, right? I'll try to stay focused on the story. The man was visibly stressed. He was carrying a black leather briefcase with brown straps on the side, an accounting office employee, looking to drown his frustrations in a bar. Any kiss, also the waiters who don't stop for a moment go back and forth in a synchronized dance. One of them was carrying a plate with fries and what looked like a filet parmigiana. When he arrived at a table where 3 women were, he stopped to hand him, in addition to the plate, a note and a drink. Then, pointing to the guy at the counter, of course, that pseudo Don Juan still thought he was going to score a hottie. Even drunk like that, the girls were pretty. A blonde and 2 brunettes were talking as if they were in one of their rooms, super relaxed, the kind of group of friends that doesn't necessarily go out to get along. They were just enjoying the friendship. The greatest proof of this was what happened with the note thrown in the trash at the same time it was received. As no, I had a lot to do that day, I decided to stay a little longer. I ordered another round of snacks and another beer. At that exact moment, a short, thin man dressed all in black and limping on one leg enters the bar. In the middle of the path, they stop whoever was going in the opposite direction. The guy at the bar, at that moment, and absurdly unceremoniously, the old man starts talking. You're a tall guy with straight hair falling into his eyes, an athletic cut, and a Disney prince's face. He has problems with his wife. His daughter, rebelled, has never been able to fulfill her dream of being a successful writer. At that moment, the man looks at the old man, trying at all costs to focus his vision, but without much success. The man continues to take out his frustration in life on his drinking habit. The man prepares himself to punch him, but suddenly he notices a dark moment in the old man. Even I noticed this, accompanied by a slight suffocation without reaction. The old man anticipates and speaks and even uses aggressive behavior to compensate for his poor sexual performance. Everyone in the bar bursts out laughing when he turns around and starts talking to one of his pool buddies. Where did you see the funny side of you? Your playboy wannabe with those designer clothes and your hair combed to the side with equally young friends. Those cigarettes that you light one after the other will not stop you from perpetuating the cancer that haunts your dishonorable family. At that moment, the furious guy with flaming eyes grabs the bat and goes after the old man, but at the same time one of his friends stops him. Don't do that, man. He's just a grumpy old man, said one of them. It was then that the old man went to the counter. He stayed there without ordering anything for a while, just sitting there thinking, when a young woman suddenly approached at the same time. He said, "Don't even come and give me a lecture. I don't have the slightest patience to listen to from people like you. Like me, what did you mean by that, you old codger? Look, she's a big mouth. No wonder she's such a failure just by looking at that face. Designer clothes and jewelry that she certainly got from her family or from the last sucker she accepted as her wife. You only know how to talk about others if you really think you're superior, right? Many here I say that appearances tell me, but I'm superior never. However, what do you think that student that you sent to jail giving false testimony must be thinking about you at that moment?" At that moment she staggered back, looking dizzy and disoriented. That's when she violently slammed the glass on the counter and left like crazy. It didn't take long for the old man to get off the stool and head towards the exit of the bar. Between one tired step and another, a noise coming from the bathroom distracted him, making him stray from the path and bump into a couple. They apologized at the same time as the old men. "What did you say? 2 imbeciles have never been able to take care of each other. It's a good thing they can't bring a child into the world." He said that last sentence, turning towards the 2 of them. They were so handsome and so full of eternal sins. They wore designer ties. They wore expensive glasses and watches. Their dress shoes were shining only with their nerve. "How dare you?" the old man interrupted before he could finish his sentence. He looked at the woman, wearing an Italian collection dress, wearing necklaces and earrings that would make you jealous. The only envy that is greater than that of someone who feels the neighbor's grass. "Who do you think you are?" I've told a lie. I thought that the impossibility of having children was a divine providence, to say the least, after irritating at least half of the customers in that place. Roadside bar, he finally leaves 10 minutes pass between arguments, breaking glasses and bottles on the walls and corners of tables, in addition to questions from all corners about who that annoying old man was. Many were incredibly upset with the things they heard, upset like spoiled children are when they receive a no. Some said never or had seen in their life. Others questioned if the old man had even seen him ever in his life. His eyes were covered by a fog, the dark atmosphere left by the old man in that bar is undeniable, a dark and unknown presence. After a while, without Patricia saying anything else, Paulo comments, "Damn, he was blind, that Tosco, that serious." Yes, but how did he know the description of everyone in the bar? There's something wrong there. It's not possible, man. Thank goodness Pedro didn't stay to hear that story. Even I was scared of that old man from that bar on 48th Street. Anyway, all of that's it for today. Let's play something, said Phael. Well, but I haven't finished the story yet, commented Patricia. From what he told me, the owner of the bar knows that old man so much that 10 minutes after that gentleman leaves, the owner returns to the counter and the bar. He is completely horrified, not knowing exactly what had happened when he went to the bathroom. The only alternative was to ask what happened. Without hesitation, one of the customers said that a short, thin old man dressed in black was limping on one leg. From what everyone says, he was blind and said nonsense to the customers. At the same time, the owner interrupted. "What do you mean, people? You are crazy. It's the old man from 48th Street. Yesterday, I went to his seventh-day mass. I loved that Lord. The guy was a character."